Officers were dispatched to a call of a domestic dispute happening at 2917 Main Street. The caller who lived nearby said that he heard yelling and glass breaking coming from that residence. Naturally, he thought it was a domestic dispute that turned violent, just like so many of them do. Several officers rushed to the scene, although nothing could have prepared them for what they saw next. As officers Matt Baker, Scott Parrish, and Bobby Johnson approached the house, they noticed thick smoke billowing from the windows, and on the front lawn was a distraught man holding a limp woman in his arms. The woman, covered in soot, appeared to be having a seizure, and it was obvious she had been yanked out of bed. As she lay there semi-conscious and overcome by smoke inhalation, she began having convulsions, which landed her in critical condition at the hospital. The officers also saw two small children dressed in diapers and pajamas who were running around the front yard, unharmed and unaware of what had just happened. Entering it was impossible. There was enormous rolling flames coming from the ceiling and pouring out the door. With no protective equipment, only the clothes on their backs, going in the front door was not an option. Officers Baker, Johnson, and Parrish went over to the side of the house where smoke was pouring out of the windows. Officers Baker and Johnson had climbed on a very small 1 to 2 inch ledge and began breaking out the windows looking for any signs of life. For a fraction of a second, Officer Baker saw the baby on a bed in one of the rooms, which was filled with smoke, and began shouting, there he is, grab him. Officers Parrish and Baker were able to hold Officer Johnson up to the window while he reached in through all the smoke and grabbed the baby. Officer Johnson describes the baby as being hot to the touch, laying lifeless in his arms and covered in soot as he brought him to the ground, and both he and Officer Baker began CPR and life-saving efforts. What's extraordinary about these officers is that their actions were automatic and almost instinctive. Emotions like panic and fear never got in the way. Never once did any of them express that they were afraid, nor did they hesitate to run up to a burning house once they found out there was a baby inside. These officers knew the risk of serious injury to themselves was high, and the probability of pulling a person out alive was low, but they never gave up, not even a little. Duluth peace officers aren't expected to fight fires or pull people out of burning buildings. They don't have the equipment, the training, or the experience to deal with that. These officers went above and beyond the call of duty without regard for their personal safety in order to save a small baby's life.
This is definitely the highlight for me, to be able to thank you for you. Thank you so much. Anything you want to say?
I'm very pleased that I can be a representative of these men and women. They work very hard every day. The other one to make the name of the agency. It's a privilege for me to work with such a courageous group of men.
You have a lot of your colleagues here too. I know they're proud of you too. We have some very nice things for you. You want to read the title or do you want to read it? Okay. The Medal of Valor goes to Patrol Officer Bobby Johnson.